Hey guys, it's me Maro, and apparently I'm still bad at making videos for some reason. I've once again been working on some projects, some longer videos that take a little bit more effort to put into and yada yada yada. Listen, this is probably gonna be the last time I do something like this, where it's like I leave for a while to make projects because, well, fuck school. That's the reason why I gotta do these projects, because ha 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 ha, I don't have time to do other stuff. Don't worry though, soon enough I will show you guys what I have been working on, and hopefully you guys will like it. I guess I gotta kind of catch up on some stuff, because like, we just got our first teaser for the next Monsters film, and I didn't even say anything about it. I was just like, oh, look at this. Godzilla X Kong Supernova. That's a heck of a title. I'll make it short, but I'm really excited for this film. If you know me, I like space stuff, and since this movie looks like it's going to take that direction, you know I want to see it as soon as possible. But that'll be 2 years from now, and who knows, maybe I'll do something special for it, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Honestly, I kinda hope the next villain isn't just Space Godzilla, because the previous movie showed that you can make completely new monsters with new abilities, and just have a similar or even a larger impact than some of the older monsters appearing. I mean, come on, you think Mechagodzilla's cooler than Lanky Kong and Icezilla? Like, Lanky Kong and Icezilla, are you kidding me? Both Scar King and Shimo are amazing characters, but Shimo is definitely my favorite of the two of them. She's very powerful, has a really cool design, no pun intended, and is very mysterious with a lot of background behind her. She is a great inclusion in the Monsterverse, and I'm looking forward to see her in Godzilla X Kong Supernova, well, if she's in it. But obviously, I wanted a figure of her. And yeah, I do have the Playmates figure, but, it's alright. It's a kid's toy, so it's not gonna be, like, the highest of quality. And yeah, sure, it's better than this. But I want something that's actually, well, cool. No pun intended. Well, there is the Hiya Toys figure, but, when was that shown again? For today's video, I will be reviewing the long-awaited figure that took way too long to come out, not Evolved Godzilla. Although I did see Evolved, and oh my god, he looks amazing. People be acting like I killed their families though, which is it's kind of funny. The Hiya Toy Shimo from Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Now, I did talk about who Shimo is in my Playmates review, so I'll kind of make this one a little bit quick. Shimo first appeared in Call of Duty. Yep.
What do I press to shoot now? Okay, let's do this. What? You stupid n-
She first appeared in Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, and basically was the main focus of the film. She's a powerful titan who is being used by Scar King to cause destruction on the planet, since she kinda already did a lot of stuff like that in her past. You know, potentially being 1,000,000,000 years old, first titan, causing the ice, all that. She also is like, people like to ship her with Godzilla for some reason. That's why? Why would you spend your entire day just making shitty slop like that? Like, come on. I'm just trying to scroll through to find shitty stuff like this, and it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this? What the fuck is this? No! I mean, hey, just saying, it would be even worse if you, like, left your friends for stuff like that over, like, a 3-year friendship or something. But, I mean, that wouldn't really happen to anyone, right? Like, there's no way someone would actually do that, right? Right? Well, with that out of the way, let's finally move on to the review and start with the box this figure comes in. This box is absolutely beautiful! See, this is what I mean by the newer Hiya Toys boxes being just, like, amazing looking. Like, the design here is just, it's so good! From the icy blue and white colors, the mountainy background, and the placement of the figure is just so perfect. See, I'm a big fan of rule of thirds, so yeah, I'm losing gallons just by looking at this. I think out of all the Hiya boxes we have, this is definitely my favorite looking one. And until I get that Hiya 1991 Godzilla, this is probably gonna stay that way. But now let's carefully move this box out of the way, put it with the others, and bring out the actual figure and... Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh my god! You know, I never thought that I could fall in love with a figure just by looking at it. But after seeing this, I'm still never gonna do it. This figure fucking sucks. This figure looks so good! Like, oh my god! This figure, it looks perfect! Wait, perfect? Huh. What's another thing that's perfect?
But the SH looks better.
Shut the fuck up!
I literally don't know how Hiya did it, but this figure looks way too good. They straight up just took Shimo from the movie and placed it in my room. Like, how the fuck did they do this? There's so much detail here that I could probably make a separate video covering it all. But let's not do that. Shimo here is covered in a few different textures. On her body, you got this lizard-like skin texture that goes up to her head, while everywhere else on the body is covered in this, like, plate texture? It's similar to Ghidorah if you watch my review on him. It gives this very bulky and strong look for the figure, which really fits Shimo's character being very dangerous. Well, until she acts like a cat, but, you know, we'll get into that later. She's got these very large arms, which could probably bitch slap any Titan next Wednesday. Very big legs, which, well, okay, they're not that big, but they still look very beefy and strong. In which they, we'll get into that later. Looking a bit more up the body, we got these crystal-like spines on her back. They're pretty big and look very, very sharp. And even though it seems like you could accidentally cut yourself on them, you won't. And it's because they're made out of this softer plastic, so you won't need to worry about anything like that. Also, thankfully, the spines on my copy are not bent like other people's, so we all good here. Moving a bit more back, we got the tail. It's a bit shorter than the other characters, but it still looks very cool. The spines go from the back all the way to the end of the tail, where we have these larger tail spikes. Unlike a certain figure, these spikes are sculpted on and look very, very good. Once again, they're made out of a softer plastic, so they won't break on you. The bottom and sides of the tail have the same texture I said before, and overall it looks very clean and nice. Now we move on to the head. And how the fuck. The head here is just magnificent. Since it's a lot larger than most of the other characters, a lot of the details here come out a lot cleaner. Every little detail here, like the eyes and teeth, are sculpted very nicely, and compared to Godzilla, it's actually a lot cleaner looking. And I like it way better, because with Godzilla, it kind of looks like just one singular piece, and it looks like it's just been kind of cut up. But with Shimo's case, it actually looks like it's teeth that are jutting out of her gums, so that's a really good thing. I also love the look of the spines here. They are pretty small, but are still sculpted. Also, if you open the mouth, you got a sculpted tongue. And since it's a larger head, the tongue here has a lot more detail on it, making it look kinda gross. And a bit too realistic for my liking, but hey, it's a tongue, so. So overall, the sculpt here looks very, very good. But when we get to the paint, we got a bit of a different story. The paint on this figure consists of two main colors, white for the body and blue for the spines and nails. There's also some pink in the mouth, but you already knew that. From afar, it looks kind of basic and normal, but looking closer, oh man, the paint here is just amazing! On the body and spines, we got this interesting shading color choice. On the spines, we got a lighter blue and a semi-purple for both shading and lighting. And with the body, we got this pinkish color nearing the bottom of the legs and arms for, well, shading. I always love it when shading on a figure, or just shading in general, isn't just pure black, because it adds just a whole lot more style and a lot more life to the figure, and I really, really love it. The eyes here are stupid tiny. However, they are painted very, very nicely. It kind of sucks that the paint on some larger eyes, like the 2014 figure, are more basic compared to this, because, well, I mean, the eyes are larger on that figure, so they should be a lot more detailed than this, but they're not, but I don't know. Hopefully that gets fixed in the future. Maybe when I get evolved, maybe he'll have his eyes be cool looking. I don't know. The teeth here are painted just perfectly, like absolutely perfectly. This is probably the first time for a figure besides, like, I don't know, my 2019 figure, where there's absolutely no, and I mean like basically no paint mistakes. It's just so clean. And also the inside of the mouth is painted like a mouth. But here's where the paint shines the most. Literally. Covering the body is the super vibrant pearlescent coat all over. It's so beautiful and just so accurate to the film. No matter which way you look at this figure, it will shine right back at you in any lighting, which is just so awesome. It really makes her stand out from all other Hiya figures released so far, and I really hope that they do this for some future figures like a Tiamat when that gets shown, but then like comes out in 2035 because apparently Hiya doesn't know how to fucking release the figures on time or show them on time because my god, it took a year to come out. What the fuck, Hiya? Now, even though the paint on this figure is really good, I do have to mention one thing that's kind of important that for some reason I haven't really seen anyone else mention before. The pearlescent coat on this figure is a bit weird. It looks really cool, don't get me wrong, but for some reason the coat makes the figure feel kind of greasy? I thought it was just the way the figure was made and I didn't really think too much about it. However, when I started to handle the figure more, I realized one thing that's kind of lame for me. If you look closely at the figure, specifically at the shiny parts, you'll see that the shine actually happens with some glitter that's painted onto the figure. In which it looks really cool, don't get me wrong, but when you touch the figure, that glitter gets transferred over to your fingers. And I checked, and it does stick to your fingers, and it's, you can kind of see on camera, hopefully, it's a bit annoying. Thankfully, it's only a tiny amount of it, and it doesn't really affect the way the figure looks, but it'd be good if it just didn't happen in general. Maybe if they do this lighting style for a future figure, they should probably add stronger coats onto the figure because, again, it's kind of annoying that you get glitter on you when you touch the figure, but I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if they do this again and if they actually fix it. Other than that, though, this figure looks fucking amazing. I don't really have to say it, but this was literally just ripped from the film. Like, legit. It's scarily accurate to the film. But having a figure's sculpt and paint look good can only really get you to, well, I guess to perfection. But it has to look good from any angle it's in. So, how's the articulation on this figure? First, the mouth can open and the tongue can move. And because I don't want weirdos here in this video, I will not be doing the tongue joke. The head is on a ball joint along with the neck, so it can move all around quite a bit, but not really up all too much. And it's because of this neck spike here. Although, if you move this piece to the side like this, you get a bit more range, which is kind of cool. Then with the arms, you got a big ball joint on her shoulder, a swivel at the arms, a double bend at the elbow, a ball joint at the, I guess wrist, a hinge joint at the hand, and individually articulated fingers. What? Each finger here is on a hinge joint, but the thumb is on a ball joint and a hinge joint. This honestly adds so much expression to the figure. It makes her feel so much more alive compared to whatever this thing was. The chest is on a ball joint along with the waist, so you can get quite a bit of movement out of that. The leg is on a ball joint, which is honestly a bit looser than I originally thought and would like, and I'll show you why in a second. A bend at the knee, a bend at the calf, similar to 2014, a kinda useless bend at this, I guess ankle? But then there's an actual bend at the foot, which has a shit ton of movement. Just look at this! It's made similar to the Skullcrawler feet, so that's pretty cool. Just be sure not to try and pose her in too crazy poses, because if you try to get the feet in a specific pose and then break it in 4 hours and then blame it on Hiya, even though it was your fault, you're just kind of being dumb. I knew a guy. And finally, we got 8 ball joints at the tail, in which it's a bit limited, but you can still do something with it. Overall, the poseability on this figure is great. The amount of poses you can get her in is honestly insane. A big selling point is that you can actually get this figure to stand up on 2 feet. And yeah, you can actually do it! While she's standing, you can have her brawl and do some cool stuff. Kinda makes me wish that she did this more in the movie, but it's alright. Although, now that we are here, I want to mention the joints on these legs. On the inside of this leg, it's connected to the body with this kinda skinny dumbbell joint, in which it makes it not as tight as I would want it to be, so because of this, when posing the figure, specifically while standing her up, the legs have a tendency to, yeah. I've been handling this figure for a bit now, so I've gotten kinda used to it and faced the issues less, but it's a bit lame considering that this was a big selling point. Other than that, posing this figure is really fun, and I can't wait to get some of the other figures to pose around, like the Evolved Godzilla and 1991 Godzilla. I mean, just look at that tail. Like, you know I'm gonna do some freaky shit with that. Man, this figure is just so cool. Like, there's no way anything further from here will hinder it from getting a perfect score. Like there's absolutely nothing here that will make it from being a bad figure. Like, there's no way. Shimo comes with no accessories. Nothing. No frostbite beam. No bone chains. Nothing. Shimo, while on all fours, is about 6 inches tall, but while standing up, she's around 11 to 12 inches. It's a bit hard to tell since I don't have my tape measure with me, but I'm most likely correct. Here she is next to the Nyanner's Dendroid, the Robot Spirits Avian 1, the Hiya Toys Kong, the Hiya Toys King Ghidorah, her semi-arch nemesis, and finally, here she is next to the Hiya Toys Godzilla 2019. Now, I usually would move on to the price, yada yada. However, I do want to mention Shimo's size here, because at first it seems a little bit off. When this figure was first shown off, people were a bit worried, myself included, that the figure would have been a little bit smaller than how she was in the movie. And now that I have this figure in hand, I can officially say that even though at first it does seem like the figure is smaller than usual, it's actually technically size accurate when considering what her average size was in Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. You see, Shimo in GXK was a bit weird with her size because in some shots she was really big, and in some shots she was a bit smaller than usual. There isn't really any like continuity or anything like that because people are like, "Oh, it's like the lore, it's so stupid." Shut the fuck up. They usually change her size for some camera angles to make her seem more menacing and threatening, in which, yeah, I can see that, but in reality, this is about how big she probably is in GXK. And even if she still is a bit undersized, she's still pretty large and larger than most figures in the Hiya Toys line so far, so it gets the job done. So now we come to the price, and her retail price is around $60, which for a figure like this is just amazing. Well, it would have been if Mr. Orange Man wasn't in office. Because of tariffs affecting the country, her price has skyrocketed a lot, and you'd probably find her online for more than $100. However, for me, I bought her on Kaukus Toys for $94, and besides some questionable shipping lengths, it's not the worst thing in the world. Even though this is the most I paid for a figure in relation to its retail, I honestly don't mind too much. For a really pretty figure with lots of articulation, and being quite big for $90, aka the same price as Unit 1, it's actually not that bad. In a way, the value of this figure seems like it would be around this price. So if you can find her for under $100, I'd say go for it before she sells out. Trust me, you probably won't find a better deal for her as it is right now, so I'd go as quick as you can and get her as soon as possible. So overall, my thoughts on this figure should be pretty obvious. This figure is my soulmate. This figure is absolutely amazing. Ever since she was shown in March of 2024, I was super excited for her. And even though we did have to wait due to some size upgrades, it was honestly worth it. Even if I did spend more for it than before, I honestly don't mind, and I'm still very happy with my purchase. And I'm super excited for some future figures to come out. And besides, if this figure really goes to show that the quality is just gonna keep getting better and better from here, you know for a fact I'm picking up every single figure from now on. So overall, I give this figure a very solid 8 out of 10. If she had some accessories, she would have gotten a perfect score, but in terms of everything else besides that, she's basically perfect. And I highly recommend picking up this figure when you can, because she's just that worth it. Well, that's about it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, I'm sorry that I've been gone again due to working on some stuff, but hopefully I can get back into making content like this, because it's really fun, and I got some cool ideas for the future that I think you all will enjoy. But until then though, thank you all for watching and sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next video. See you later.